Okay, the next one, same thing, elevation, you gotta draw your own picture. So, Tom delivers papers on a rural route from his car. If he throws the paper from 4 feet and it lands 15 feet from the car, so here we go. There's the window. I don't even know how to draw it. Here's his arm hanging out the window. And here's a paper. Awesome. Okay. Now, he's going to throw it 15, so it's going to land right here. And this distance is 15 feet. So, the paper is going to go 15 feet. It's 4 feet above the ground. So right here, that's 4 feet. And what does it want? What angle of depression did he throw it? So there's the triangle right here. Now, here is usually, there's your line of sight right there. Angle of depression, so that's going down. This is the angle we want right here. The angle from straight across to his normal line of sight to going down. So this angle is the exact same as this angle because they're alternate interior angles. So I'm going to find this one. So my triangle right here, I'm going to mark it from here. This piece is opposite. This piece is adjacent. So the trig we're going to use is tangent. So it's going to be tangent from this angle right here, which we don't know what it is. And the trig is going to be 4 over 15. Okay, now to solve for x, we got to undo the tangent. So you do the inverse, and that undoes it, and do the inverse on this side. So the inverse tangent of 4 over 15 and the angle is 14.9 degrees. So that is your angle of depression. Okay, next one. Sarah's cat climbed up a tree. She sights her cat at an angle of elevation, so that's going up 40 degrees, and her eyes are 5 feet off the ground. Okay, so here we go. Here's Sarah. There's a tree. And let's see, her cat's somewhere in here in the tree. Alright, there's a cat. So she sights her cat at an angle. Okay, here's Sarah's eyeballs right here. Now her eyeballs normally look straight across. That's her line of sight. If she looks up to view a cat, she looks up at 40 degrees. That's the angle of elevation. Okay, let's see, her eyeballs are 5 feet off the ground. So from here to the ground is 5 feet. Okay, now they want to know how high up from the ground is the cat. Okay, so there's a problem. We don't have enough information. So your triangle looks like this. We've got an angle of 40 degrees. And I know her eyeballs right here to the ground. That's 5. So we just need to find this piece. We need to figure out how tall that is and add it to 5, but we don't have enough information, so I've got to add something to it. Let's say she is standing 20 feet from the tree. So here's the tree right here. So her distance, this piece is 20. Okay, now you can find it. So I'm pretty sure there's not enough information as it is. There's cat. She sights her cat. Elevation of 40. Her eyes are 5 feet off the ground. Yeah, that's not enough info. So we'll say she's 20 feet away from the tree. Okay, now mark it from there. That's opposite. That's adjacent. So we're going to do tangent. Tangent from 40 equals opposite over adjacent. So now times by 20. Times this by 20. 20 times the tangent of 40. 20 times the tangent of 40. So this x is 16.78. Plus we're going to add it to her 5. So she's 21. The cat's 21 feet up in there. 21.78 feet. Okay, 600 degrees. Now secant, you gotta have it in your notes. The fraction they want for secant is on top. They want hypotenuse on bottom, adjacent. 600, 90, 180, 270, 360. 600 is more than one spin, so minus a circle. If you do 600 minus 360, 240. Okay, 240. So this is your first piece right here. You're going to spin around one circle. That's 360, and then you got 240 left over. 240 is going to stop somewhere right there. So your angle looks like that. So 240 extra. And the question is, how much past 180 did you go? So 240 minus the 180 is going to be 60. Past the 180, you went 60 degrees. Okay, here's the triangle you can do your trig from. Okay, now 60 is half of an equilateral. So 60, 30, 60, 90. Your other half, always flip it over the 30 and the 90. So 30 and 90. So the other half's going to be over here. Okay, now make up your own dimensions. This triangle is going to be a 10 by 10 by 10. So that piece is 5, that piece is 5. Now these are both negatives because they're on the x number line, and there's 0, they're left of 0, so that's negative. They're going to negative infinity. And the middle of a triangle is always going to be 5 square roots of 3. And that also is on the y number line. It's going up and down. And here's 0 on the y, and it's going down, so it's going to be negative. So here is the triangle we're looking at. That's 10. That's a minus 5. That's a minus 5 square roots of 3. So if you go from here, hypotenuse, there's your 90. That's hypotenuse. This is opposite. That's adjacent. So it is going to be hypotenuse over adjacent. It's going to be 10 over a negative 5. So it simplifies to be negative 2. Cosecant of 495. First of all, cosecant. Okay, that one is hypotenuse on top, opposite on bottom. Okay, 495, it's negative. So that means this marker's 90, this marker's 180, 270, 360. Okay, 495 is more than one spin. So 495 minus 360 is going to be 135 left over. Okay, so your first piece is going to land right there. Then you got to spin in a negative direction one circle, so it's going to be this way. And then what's left over is 135. So that's going to stop right there. So there's your angle. Now do the trig. Go up, make it 90. That's 45. That's 45. Okay. So this is going to be a square. If you want your square to be 10 by 10 by 10 by 10, that's negative because it's going left. That's negative because it's going down. They're all negative. Then the pattern for a square in the middle is going to be 10 square roots of 2. And your hypotenuse is always going to be positive. So this is where you're looking from right here. So hypotenuse is on top. So that's the 10 square roots of 2. And opposite is on bottom. Opposite is a negative 10. So these divide, and that gives you 1. So it's a negative square root of 2. That is your answer. Okay, cosine of negative 450, negative 90, 180, 270, 360. 450 is more than one rotation. So you're going to go around once. 450 minus 360 is going to be 90 left over. So 90, if you ever land on a line, just do it on your calculator. So type in cosine of a negative 450, and that is 0. So if you ever land on one of these lines, just do it on your calculator. Tangent of 390. Okay, 390. That's more than in one rotation, so minus 360, and what's left over is 30. And it's positive, so you're going to go this way. 90, 180, 270, 360. First piece is there, you're going to spin around one time, and then 30 left over, so 30 is going to stop right there. So there's 30. And 30 is, we just did one half of equilateral. So we go 10, 10, 10. So that piece is 5, that piece is 5. This one's positive, this one's negative. And in the middle is going to be 5 square roots of 3. Okay, then tangent. So tangent's going to be opposite over hypotenuse. And this is where you're going from. So opposite is 5. And hypotenuse is 10, so it's going to be 1/2. Okay, the last one, you gotta draw your own triangle. Make it 90, and C is the 90, so that's C. We'll call that A, we'll call that B. Little b, this side right here is little b, so it's 4. Little c, that's hypotenuse, that's gonna be 14. So I know C is 90 degrees, and I know little c is 14, and little b is 4. Okay, we can do Pythagorean theorem. I can do 4 squared plus x squared equals 14 squared. And I think if decimals, probably round them to the nearest tenth. So we can go 16 plus x squared is equal to 196 minus 16 minus 16. So x squared equals 180. So now we're going to undo the square. Square root of 180 is going to be 13.4. So that's little a, 13.4. Okay, now I'm going to mark it from A. Either mark it from A or mark it from B. If you mark it from A, that's hypotenuse. This piece is the opposite, and this piece is adjacent. And I'm going to do the 4 and the 14. So adjacent with the hypotenuse, that's cosine. So the cosine from A equals adjacent over hypotenuse. Now undo the cosine. So do the inverse. Do the inverse. So inverse cosine of 4 over 14. A is going to be 73.4 degrees. Okay, so if this is 73.4, just do 180 minus 90 minus 73.4, and this is going to be 16.6.